Actually, there's a very simple reason for that. And the reason is when we watch things on screen, let's say, for example, you watch YouTube or videos or movies. So when we use the screen for work, or let's say like now, it's a very specific purpose, right? Like we're doing some program or you have some work you have to accomplish. The screen has a function as a technology tool. What happens when we use the screen, whether it's the mobile phone or the computer or game or iPads or any of these screens, when we use it for the purpose of entertainment, and that includes like watching news, okay? So for a lot of people, even watching all kinds of news, surfing the news all the time is a kind of entertainment as well. So the function of search and get information on internet, or video games where you're searching and shooting and getting a target. Like these functions psychologically, mentally are designed by the game makers, by internet system to make the human brain function just as we were maybe like thousands of years ago when we go into the forest looking for food. Right? So when you go to the forest and you look for food, or you want to hunt an animal, like you want to pick some berries, before you get to the forest, already in your mind, in the human mind, what happens? The dopamine hormone starts to produce. So dopamine is the pleasure hormone. So it's the anticipation for something that's pleasurable. So dopamine is a hormone that appears in our brain when we're about to get food because we're hungry, or when you're about to have sex. That's a huge dopamine flood in your brain. So they say before you get the food or the sex, the dopamine already floods your brain. In fact, you don't even have to get it. Your brain already has this pleasure there. But on top of it, you get it if you take alcohol, drugs, any kind of stimulant that's altering your mind for a goal of getting something to satisfy your need. So the internet is the next element in our life, in modern human life, which is producing dopamine. But unfortunately, the use of internet or social media or games is overproducing the dopamine in our brain. Overproducing. So overproduce means you get addicted. So I want more, I want more, I want more. So when we look at like the mobile phone, okay, and you look at like a cacao, and then you check some message, some friend sent you something, or you check Facebook and there's a like and a like, then 5 minutes later you look again and see how many more likes appear, or did somebody answer. So after a while you look at this thing maybe 5, 6, 10, 20, 30 times within a short period of time, and it's repeated pathway appearing in your consciousness. So it becomes a path, like a path inside your consciousness that is permanent. Okay, so it's not different from if you took cocaine or marijuana and you kept taking it and taking it and taking it and make this path very strong. Then what happens, the dopamine level that gets produced in our brain becomes overproduced and then weakens. So the brain wants more but cannot produce. So that's when addiction is a constant roller coaster in our life and we cannot control. So what you're experiencing is the dopamine production sort of exhausting itself by watching internet, watching a movie or something. So you can watch one, and I don't know if anyone has Netflix, but Netflix is designed for that exact purpose. If you watch one movie, it's okay. But the Netflix specialty is their TV series, like many episodes, right? You can't stop after you watch one. You've got to watch like all 6. And pretty much you're like watching for 6 hours, like into the middle of the night. Yeah. So our biggest challenge right now, among many things as human beings, is to become the master of the internet and technology, instead of letting the internet, technology, social media, or your screens become your master. So we have to flip that around. So many people, not just you, you know, even myself, you know, like last night we had a Dharma talk with the Zen Center in Malaysia online on Zoom, and it ended like 11 o'clock because they're 1 hour behind. And they started, you know, 8 o'clock their time, which was already 9 o'clock for us here, right? Yeah. So I committed to that, but after I finished, you know, I couldn't sleep. The whole event was still in my head like a hamster going round until like almost midnight. I was like wired, you know, because of all this electronic field and your brain all sort of still connecting. Okay, so sometimes use this what do you call this flux, or the blue light diffuser on your screen. You know, that kind of app is very important in the evening, especially. And definitely a minimum of 90 minutes, 1.5 hours before you want to sleep, get off of the screen. Yeah. So it's only about a decision. And yeah, it's very seductive. Like it creeps up like, oh yeah, I want to just watch 5 more minutes of this event. And then you're already there for 3 hours. Yeah. So my experience I've seen is that works for me is I have to set a schedule, but one thing that really helps me is I made a chart and I posted on my wall next to my desk. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week, the date. And I would post, you know, my time for meditation, you know, my time for exercise, my teaching time, and my bows, you know, did I clean up the kitchen? Okay, it's a little bit like temple style or like army. It's like we have to train ourselves. And then I put screens off time. So my job right now is every day I make sure I go to this chart. Make that your priority. It's kind of fun, actually, I realized. It's and you can put your own favorite stickers when you do it that day. Like put some sticker on the date that you screened off at 8:30 exactly, right? You did your job, okay? So try to set something up that will be fun for you, for yourself, because this is only about you and your true self. You know, you don't have to show anybody else, okay? And if you see something like a real piece of paper that you write off with your own hand, my experience is that psychologically, it's very powerful. It has a very strong effect on our ability to believe in ourselves. So write that in, and every day, and then at the end of the week, you check, okay, 8:30, I had 8:30, I closed my screen. Yeah, good job, okay? So if you decide it and you do it, then in 7 days, you believe in yourself a lot more. Your center will become a lot more strong, okay? So my suggestion is that I noticed that if I don't teach in the evening, I don't use screen like 3 days straight, then right away my sleep habit is much better. I wake up the next morning much more rested. But if I had to use a lot of screen the day before, then, and if I didn't turn it off early enough before bed, then what happens is I sleep more hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours more, but I'm more tired. Yeah. So as they say, nowadays it's not only junk food, there's a junk sleep. That means even you're sleeping, caffeine, you know, screen, internet, information, all of this is not able to purify. You can't like dump it enough because the sleep quality is very shallow. And millions of people have this problem right now. Yeah. So also what helped me lately is in the evening after I turn off the screen, I right away do something physical. like clean the kitchen, make sure everything in the kitchen is completely all taken care of. So next morning you feel very good. And you go to the kitchen and you can make breakfast and everything is like Zen Center, you know, perfectly minimally clean. Wow. Yeah. And then you set your meditation area, you know, you make your house clean enough, tidy everything. Then when you sleep, you have very good feeling. Okay. Yeah. So try to find the small rituals of your day that can give you this joy of doing something, you know, that is aligned with your direction. Okay. And then sometimes you can enjoy the movie, right? Good. I hope that helps. Let me know. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.